Bear Element, Episode 27, recorded 10 July 2013.
Talking about Twizzlers, everyone.
Twizzlers.
And you've actually hit record already, huh?
Yes, I have.
What episode are we?
Are you done, Ron?
27.
All right.
Jesus Christ, episode 27.
Okay, we ready?
Ready.
Episode 27.
Wow.
Woohoo.
The Bear Element.
We survived.
Yes, we have.
We survived the Prop 8 and the Doma
Doma.
from last time in the Castro.
This is Clay.
This is Tim.
This is Vito.
This is Wolfie.
I'm Ron Braun.
and Ron Braun.
I'm Ron Braun.
Who'd you bring with you today, Ron Braun?
I brought with me today the guys from the Cubhouse.
Cubhouse.
Which is well, they'll explain it to you. With us today are Buddy, Jerry, and Mike. Unfortunately, Giano is also part of that. He couldn't be with us tonight. But welcome, guys, and happy to have you.
Welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Hello.
Say something, Mike.
I'm Mike.
I am Buddy.
And I'm Jerry.
There you go. That's their voices.
Ta-da.
Well, they put on a fantastic party once a month at the Eagle, the SF Eagle. Tell us about your party. How did it start? Where did it come from?
This is Buddy, by the way. And it all kind of started at my house. I got out of a relationship, and I kept the apartment, and he kept the dog. I moved some of my best friends in, and...
Buddy, this is Clay. I have to ask you a question. When
Sure.
he left, did he say, I'm taking the dog, dumbass?
No, it just kind of happened organically. It was a really, well, I mean, the dog's still alive and is still really cool. And I still get to see him every once in a while, but.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, so we started out by calling ourselves the Cubhouse. Previously, with my partner, I had called our apartment the Treehouse. And, my friends moved in. We're all part of the gays, and, we're all 20-something Cubs. So we became the Cubhouse, and we threw a bunch of house parties, and they were fun, and they got bigger, and they got bigger, and they got bigger, and our neighbors started to get pissed. And in the meantime, Mike had just started throwing a party called FAT, which stands for Fun Ass Time, and it kind of all parlayed into like, oh, we should get this out of my house because my neighbors are going to evict me, and let's bring it to a place where we can not get in trouble. Basically.
Actually, I was invited. I was invited to a couple of those Cubhouse parties, and I wasn't able to make it. I felt really because I love Cubs.
Yeah, they were really fun.
They're
but,
delicious.
I mean, my house,
With ketchup.
the apartment I live in is, I mean, it's not small, but at the same time, it doesn't really accommodate like 90 bears. So it got a little weird. Yeah, so then we had the opportunity to actually throw a Cubhouse party during the opening weekend of the Eagle. It kind of fell through, and I was like, fuck it, let's move it to my house again. And that happened, and that was probably a bad idea.
That the opening of the Eagle fell through.
Yeah, well,
So-
right. The Cubhouse party didn't happen there, so I was like, c'est la vie, let's bring it to the house again. And that was like the last straw. I got a couple notices from my landlords, and I was like, yeah, we can't do this anymore, guys. I'm sorry. But then the Eagle came through, and we started throwing it there, and it's been really fun and really successful. Like, during the Pride party, we had a line for the first time. It was
Wow.
crazy.
I was going to say, what does successful look like?
Successful looks like just a sea of beards. Yeah. And like, no shirts, a lot of skin.
There you go.
It's good.
So what makes a Cubhouse party a Cubhouse party?
Jerry.
Nope, no pressure there. That's the only party that Jerry shows up for.
Jerry is the key.
There's not really much to I guess what makes a Cubhouse party a Cubhouse party. I mean, it's really just about having a good time, listening to good music. To Mike's point, having a fun ass time. And that's basically it. And we just want a place for everyone to come and party.
Well, do you have any kind of special music or a DJ or?
So I'm technically the resident DJ for the Cubhouse. I go by the name of Hail Thief. Typically we play house music, but it's mostly anything electronic, and it's basically anything that we're really into.
So you don't take requests?
It's not that kind of party.
It's
I'd say most dances I've been to in San Francisco are not that type of party.
I've had people make requests, and if I'm into it, then I'll play it, and sometimes I won't.
Yeah, there's 2 rules. You can't make requests, and you can't fall off the roof.
Can't fall off the roof. And now, how did that second one come about?
Nobody's fallen off the roof yet.
All right.
Yeah, the eagle doesn't let us on the roof yet. Yeah. But we also no cover ever, no cover. So everyone is invited. Everyone should come. People with no money can show up. It's fine. There's no cover at the door. Just walk in and enjoy yourself and enjoy Jerry's music. And we can also, you guys can link to some of Jerry's sets, one of Mike's sets from the Cubhouse party.
Absolutely.
They're
cool.
on SoundCloud right now. So
Mike, are you still doing anything with the fat parties?
We're focusing all our energy on the Cubhouse right now. It's definitely on the back burner. It's basically been like the basis of what we were able to do with the Cubhouse party and let it become what it's becoming right now. I used to do parties for straight clubs down in Santa Barbara, and now coming up here is a completely different aspect as far as we're in a bar and we're not doing a dance party. If you want to dance at our party, that's fine. And it's been really good. Everybody's been able to perceive us very well.
Let's come on. It's a Cub/Bear party. Let's get down to brass tacks. Is there any food?
I guess for the last couple, I've purchased Costco-sized bags of candy and threw them everywhere.
Yes, it was tasty.
Yeah, it was great.
I loved it.
I think one of the things I've always enjoyed about your particular party versus some of the other parties is that it's like you said, what differentiates it from something else? Why would I go to this party versus that party? But I've always found your parties to just have a specific sort of good energy and kind of a fun crowd, and not that the other parties aren't, but there's just a particular sort of high energy and a good mix of people that really I think makes your party stand out.
Thanks, Ron. We also have the best visuals at any party in San Francisco.
Yes, that is very important to mention because it's absolutely true. Tell them what.
Excuse me, is there anyone know what ear doctor of mine?
Sorry, I got excited. I love your videos.
So when we were still throwing the house parties at my house, I have a screensaver set up with an Apple TV that would just go through all these photos I would pull from the internets, like of bears and lots of dirty things. And I kind of weeded them out.
You have my attention.
Yes. I kind of weeded them out to be not super explicit for the Eagle, because apparently boners are cool, but cum shots and penetration aren't.
Well, you got to draw the line.
Yeah.
That's Cubhouse after hours.
But it's I don't know, probably 8,000 photos of very chubby, cute men, beardy bears.
Yeah. I could sit there and watch it all day long.
So these Cubs are bear lovers, huh?
Yes, correct.
Awesome. I like it.
And I think it's a nice mix of kind of, you have bears there in search of cubs, so, it's a good mix of people.
I like the Eagle venue because in the patio, you can still listen to music and you can talk too. It's not too loud, so that's great.
Yeah, they keep the music going out there, but it's not obstructive to being social, and you don't have to scream at your friends. So it's
have a
nice.
cocktail. Well, what else? Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. What do you guys have differentiating roles, or because there's 4 of you? Jerry, that's kind of is doing the resident DJ. Do you someone do promotions? Is someone specific roles you take?
Yeah, so Jerry's kind of the go-to music guy, and he actually is a DJ and knows how to. I don't know what put that stuff in front of me, I can't do it. And then Mike's kind of our point guy with the folks at the Eagle, and just kind of communicating and wrangling everything together. I help wherever I can and throw as much money as I can at things, and then Giano does all of our graphic stuff, just visual PR things, and wherever he fits in as well. And then
I like that.
Yeah,
definite team and going with what your strengths are.
Yeah, I mean we're all super close friends. It works out pretty good.
I think what Vito was getting at when he said position was who's the top and who's the bottom.
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
Pervert.
I've known him a long time. That's what he really meant.
I'd like to hope that we're all versatile.
Nope.
Great answer.
Versatile with your music. Yeah.
So, and Gianna runs around looking, well, as you all do, looking sexy. But isn't there an underwear thing, too, that goes on?
We just did an underwear party for a Pride party that just passed by. It was a lot of people participated. When we did the Fat Party last year, we did it at a truck. It was our biggest attendance, and a lot of people participated. This time, it was a little more. It was a little easier for people to participate because there was a lot more room. They actually had a functioning co-check. So
Oh, wow.
I was really surprised. A lot of people came out.
I was in the Castro, and I was trying to make it the whole evening. So my plan was to get there, by 11, and I didn't realize with the Pride thing, I got caught in the crowd, and there was no way to get out. There was no cabs. It took me 20 minutes just to get to somewhere where there weren't several hundred people, but I really wanted to. I think it's fun. There's a lot of underwear parties that are awful and just right, just really people you wouldn't want to see. But I heard very, very good. I heard very, very good things about that one.
Because they're hot guys, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of and there's a lot of them are disinhibited and just having a fun time, and it's not. I think, like you said, the tone there with your videos isn't too overly sexual. It's just enough, or it's really nice, and it just gets you good and excited for the evening.
Yeah, I also found out that I have 48 pair of underwear that I strung around the eagle for decoration.
Is it scented?
No, I had actually just done laundry, so it was all smelling okay. But yeah,
Fabric softener.
So they were all yours? They weren't stuff that people threw at you or left at your house? Or
actually, when I was going through hanging them up, some of them were totally not my size, and I was like, oh.
Leftover trick underwear.
Well,
the bears
Didn't
that you
someone
corral.
I think you could
steal some of your underwear at that party?
Yeah, I noticed a couple pair missing when we left.
There you go.
Well, I was just going to say, you could probably just turn around and sell those on eBay as a fundraiser.
Not dirty ones. They won't let you do it anymore.
Well,
What, really?
Yeah, I had a friend that used to make money doing that.
Is that friend you?
No, it's not one of those things. I have a friend, quote. No.
air quotes.
Air quote friend who
Well, my
used to
air
sell
quote
dirty
friend,
I would have loved to have made money. I found out after the fact, after they banned it.
PayPal will also shut you down.
Yeah,
Andrew.
PayPal. Yeah.
Really?
Boom.
Yeah, they got more sophisticated and they shut down all the stuff that made them their original money.
This was a Homie the Scroll episode, I swear. No one knows what I'm talking about. Move on.
Moving on. Well, is there anything else about Cubhouse you gentlemen would like to share with us before we
how about
transition?
when is it?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the third Friday of every month, but with the Eagle, it switches up every once in a while. We try to keep everything posted as well as we can, but this month we're actually probably doing 2 in a row. 2 Fridays in a row. Mike, can you confirm this?
Yeah. Well, we'll be on Friday, July 19th, Friday, July 26th, the Friday before Dory.
Which one of those is the thong party?
Hello.
Jockstrap party. Yeah, I'd go to that.
Oh, that's funny. I was going to say, okay, so before Dory Alley, and then for the future, people should look on Facebook, right? Go on Facebook, type in Cubhouse, Cubhouse, and I'll have links on the website. Become a what do you call it? Like their Facebook page, and that way you can figure out when you come to San Francisco.
Woohoo!
Awesome.
Are there any themes that you're doing, or is it just come and have a good time? Or
Jameson.
Always Jameson.
Well, we've had wine on the cast before, but we've never had hard alcohol, so we have our first hard alcohol on the set.
Yay!
Hard alcohol.
Yeah, I have like a ridiculous Jameson graveyard at my apartment, and we would like to eventually get the Eagle to give us a Jameson special, or maybe even potentially have Jameson sponsor us in some way. But
good idea.
yeah, it's definitely the Cubhouse drink of choice.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
They just swigged it. You all are over 21, right? No?
Woohoo. Mentally.
At the Eagle, you have to be 21 to get in, right? Or can they do an 18 and over?
No, the Eagle, I'm pretty sure all the bars are
Yeah, 21
21
and over.
and over.
Yeah.
But the rickshaw stop, I don't know what their deal is or how they do it. They sell food. Okay. I've never seen food there.
Literally frozen burritos you can ask for it at the bar.
Huh. Fair enough.
Technicalities.
Well, cool. Alrighty. Well, then our next topic is going to be something that I have absolutely no idea what this is about. Something called catfishing, and apparently it has nothing to do with fishing poles. So
It's huge. I mean, we touched on it with that football player that had the fake girlfriend online.
Right.
What's
yeah,
his
it
name?
was. Fuck if I know.
Teo?
Monty Teo.
Monty Teo?
Was that that was the football player's name. And
Right,
then it
right.
was the whatever dude who was posing as a girl.
Right. Well, apparently this is a lot more common. I think we've talked a little bit about this before, and we may have even mentioned the documentary about it. But now that documentary has translated into a television series. So each episode, they are going and finding somebody that has a love that they suspect, and then they do the research on the internet and then physically go find them. And it's heartbreaking to watch.
Wait,
So-
can you explain how is that a show?
It's a show because of editing, just like all of our shows.
No, but I mean,
On
so
TV
they
right now.
find somebody who has a fake love.
Right. So let's say that you have fallen in love with somebody on the internet, and they have a Facebook page and they have a picture of it, or one of these other sites. But you've never met them. And you've tried to meet them and you haven't met them, but you're in love with them. But you know in the back of your mind something's going on.
But how can you really be in love with some invisible person, first of all? And second of all, there's FaceTime and Skype, and it's like, my rule is if you ain't seen me naked in like the first 10 minutes, don't even bother, you know? This is not this is not the 80s. I mean, let's get
So
down
you're saying
to
being
it. Let's get down. This is the information age.
and he means that. It includes his mom, his grandmother,
Exactly.
everybody.
So apparently
You
he's
want to see
saying,
it? It's me. This
apparently he's also saying if you've known him for more than 10 minutes and he's not gotten naked in front of you, it's not going to happen.
No, but I'm just saying in this day and age. Well, I got 42, so we grew up in the era of like the BBS and the different, things where people can bullshit you about their dick size or what they look like or whatever. So now it's like, all right, we got the technology. I want to see the goods. Like, show it. This ain't I'm fucking around.
It's still happening, though.
But I don't. Those people are stupid. Then what the?
Okay, stupid works for me.
Would you?
Maybe
have-
they just don't have a fast enough internet connection. They can't Skype with you. And
Look, they have enough content to have a television series.
Somebody draw a picture like I look like this. I'm pretty. Like, I mean, come on. I just don't know how many people.
Is that an arm or your penis? What is
Well,
that?
I think Ron needs to make a little video demonstrate a little stick figure.
Hi. All right. No, but I'm saying, like, I could see one guy being duped by it, but like all kinds of people, especially after they
All
see
kinds
this.
of people. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I watched the television show on MTV, and they're not the brightest people.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that there's always going to be some people out there that are just inherently shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember years ago, it was late 90s when I was chatting with some guy online and sent me his picture and, hot, chubby bear, and we had no place to meet, so we were going to meet at the Steamworks. And, the guy lived in like Palo Alto or something like that. So I go there to the Steamworks to meet him. He never fucking shows up. Fast forward like 5 years. I forget how it came up, but I happened across his picture again with a friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, I know him. Yeah, he lives in Florida." And so of course I'm thinking, no, that's that fucker that, stood me up at the Steamworks. But it turns out it was actually somebody using somebody else's photo. So, guy never lived in Palo Alto and this and that and the other. But,
The real question is, did you have a nice time at Steamworks?
in spite of him, yes.
And that was a success.
You got to work out your frustrations.
So, you little boys and girls out there, that boy. Anyone over 18, internet dating, meet somebody at a place that you can enjoy if you're stood up. That's the...
I have a friend in Australia, and somebody in California used his one of his pictures on his profile, and I told him about it, and he was actually quite flattered that somebody would use his picture as a fake profile.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I
'cause he's
don't
representing him. I mean, on the MTV show, there was a guy, and his picture was on there, and people from the show did the research, found the guy, the actual guy that belonged to the picture, and talked to him, and he had never heard of this other person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, but that happens all the time. We've talked about that with Jeff Glover and other people. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm with Ron in that. If you can't show the goods, or a real face or movement or something,
Something.
not just a stick figure.
Right. If they show like a weird picture that you'd see on Dateline later on as a rapist, like you should reconsider maybe falling in love with that picture.
Clay, what I didn't tell you is that they're having extensive phone conversations.
Uh-huh.
All the 2 shows that I saw, they're on the phone all the time.
So are they altering their voices?
No, they're just doing their voices, but it's not their picture. So they're getting quite intimate, and text messaging,
sexting.
So the only thing that's missing is meeting in person, and the picture is wrong on most of these cases.
They might as well fall in love with a sexy robot. I mean, the question is, can you really fall in love with somebody you've never touched or seen or smelled?
I think you can, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to add that I have experienced more than a few times being pleasantly surprised by not getting the photo that I wanted to get, and then just rolling the dice and meeting that person, and it being really fucking okay.
Wow.
Yeah. That happens, but also I think the number of times you're let down is.
Well, what sort of picture didn't you get the first time? Or you know what I mean? It must have been somewhat nice for you to meet them, I suppose.
Well, yeah, it was just like a G-rated photo.
Oh,
so,
right.
But yeah, I like you wanted to see what I was getting into and the goods, and I didn't get them, and I was like, we'll see what happens.
On the flip side, I have heard stories of people who chat online and go to like a run, bear run, chub run, whatever they mean, and the guy who's supposed to have the 10-inch dick drops his pants and bing!
You couldn't see the pinky.
Right.
Yes,
Make sure that the dick is connected to the body and the face. But I guess with Photoshop they could do
Okay,
anything.
but imagine you've talked to this person for the last 6 months, and you've emptied your soul into them.
Well, that's investing way ahead of
I
the
think
curve.
so.
That would be, you're setting yourself up for betrayal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ouch.
You got to be smarter than that.
I mean, yeah, I guess I should. Back to what Buddy was saying. I mean, my partner, when we actually met on Scruff, and he's not the type of guy that sends out naked photos of himself. And, we ended up getting together, and we're together now. We're a couple. So, I mean, I couldn't have been too disappointed in not seeing his junk and all that beforehand.
That's true.
I had a roommate that he used to put up one of the least flattering pictures of himself that he could, and the caption was, "I use this to weed out the shallow." And then he had other pictures of himself that were a little more, flattering or, a little better angle. But he's just like, it's just the way it is. And I've never spent a lot of time editing the pictures that I put up. It's like sometimes you see me sunburned with my eyes all squinty in Miami Beach. I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
But, Bill and I met online, and I was, we did a really good job of, I think, representing ourselves.
Well,
there were no surprises when we met in person.
Can I ask what the electronic sequence of events was?
I was living in San Diego, and he was down for a softball tournament, and so I saw his picture, and I thought, he's cute. And I said,
Picture on a profile.
on Bear 411.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like you were looking for sex offenders in the area and he popped up.
Not that time. Not that time. That's another story. But and he said, "Hey, we're out at a bar, and I'm not a bar person." So I said, I go up to San Francisco, and I'll meet you up there."
This is with chat with Bear 411.
Back and forth on Bear 411. And then we did email, and then we kind of never quite met up. And so fast forward, that was like in November, and at the last minute I decided to come up for Pride. I emailed him, and we met, and boom, literally we were living together by Halloween.
Okay, so you lucked out, because if he would have been a catfish, you would have been trying to meet, and it never would have happened.
Right.
Something always would have come up, and then that's when they start suspecting, right? And then they think,
And Bill's best friend told me, he goes, "Oh, I would have deleted him after the second time he didn't get together.
That's the Catfish. That's the television show. When they start thinking and they contact the producers and they don't want to believe that they're being duped.
Wow.
So,
Well-
anything else?
Anyone else?
I was just wondering. So every time, are they getting like? Is it ever a good, like, not what they suspected? It's always like.
It's the same
Yeah.
person every show.
When will I learn? Oh, this is the 8th episode.
Heartbreak Sally is her name.
Real quick, what ends up happening is actually like the last 10 minutes of the half-hour show or the hour show is almost like the producers are there physically. You can see their faces, and they have them meet, and then you get to see the drama and the heartache, and then what they really try to do on purpose, they don't just let it go. They try to get the parties back together because literally 9 times out of 10, it's someone they know that did it to them.
Oh, wow.
It's either a best buddy.
Maliciously?
Not maliciously. It ends up being interpreted as malicious at first, and then, but when you find the motivation of the person doing it to the other person, it's meant to either be to help them with their lives so that they won't be lonely, so that they get away from drugs, so that they, like I said, and by the very end, at least for the 2 episodes that I saw, there is a reconciliation of the friendship after they're devastated finding out that this person doesn't exist.
Do they just go back to an online relationship? I can't look at you, but I'll text you.
Yeah. Pretend that whole thing didn't happen with that TV show.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time that we take a break from all this drama all up in here. So we'll entertain you with our little theme song.
And this is the end of part 1 for episode 27 for our Bear Radio listeners.
BearRadio.net.
BearRadio.net.
So everybody at BearRadio.net, we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Other than that, iTunes are on the website. It's a brief break, and we'll be right back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
That was Miss Scarlett. Okay, go lay down. All right.
Part 2, episode 27.
Part 2.
And this is Vito.
This is Tim.
This is Wolfie.
I'm Ron.
This is Clay. And our guests today are from Cubhouse. We have Buddy, Jerry.
Oh, let them introduce themselves so people can hear their voices.
Hi, I'm Jerry.
I'm Buddy.
And this is Mike.
And Vito, edit out the part where Tim's being a dick, okay?
Ouch.
That's like the whole thing.
I know, right?
That's like his whole persona.
So, some of you may or may not have heard, but the Supreme Court of the United States struck down major parts of DOMA. And
Yeah, for all the people living under a rock.
Yeah, I'm being facetious. Have
We're
you heard?
watching Fox News where they only had a little ticker thing.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Hasselhoff is now moving to
Oh, that's a perfect
Fox
place
News,
for
by the
her.
way.
Hasselhoff?
Well, what is her last name?
Isn't it Hasselbeck?
Hasselbeck. Yeah.
Hasselbeck.
Yeah.
Whatever.
House
She's a
of-
bitch.
Clusterfuck.
House of Cunts.
House of Guns.
Anyway.
Well, they're saying that Jenny McCarthy is supposed to be filling her
Oh,
slot.
she's
Yeah.
fun. So
Yeah,
all
she's
liberal.
fun.
I love it
You
on the
remember,
View.
wasn't she on Remote Control and MTV way
Yes,
back
she
in the day?
was.
She's had work done.
Yeah.
She's had work done.
She's preserved.
But in the aftermath of a very eventful Pride, and
Oh my God, did you hear about all the straight weddings that went up in flames?
it's bedlam and mayhem, coast to coast.
If you
That's what
didn't
we're
hear
told.
about them, it's because it didn't happen.
Right?
Dogs and cats living together.
Exactly.
But one thing that did happen,
Mass hysteria.
Although Vegas is on fire, I hear.
in addition to
It's hot there, yeah.
how amazing it is that most of the branches of the federal government have enacted positive things in the change of the demise of DOMA and Prop 8 green cards for gay couples.
That's fucking huge.
That's
Way
amazing.
huge.
And then a federal court recently moved to strike Michigan's ban on same-sex marriages under citing the legal precedent of these recent cases. So it's going to be really interesting
And
to see how
Pennsylvania
things move. Yeah, now Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Back when they had the case, was it the Texas sodomy case?
Yeah.
about,
Heart
and
wig.
when that made it to the Supreme Court, Scalia, in his dissent said, this ruling is going to pave the way for same-sex marriage. And it did.
10 years later.
And now in his dissent for DOMA being struck down and Prop 8 being dismissed, he said, this is just going to pave the way for same-sex marriage in all states. So let's hope he has right.
Thank you,
this time.
Psychic Scalia.
Yeah.
Do we have to wait until 2023 now?
Tim, do your and. I love your and. Your long and.
And what?
I just like hearing it. And this is Vito. I got my certificate. I am an officiate. I can marry you.
Yay.
Good
wow.
for you.
Yes, it took me about 10 minutes on the internet.
That's awesome.
But I am a
What was
monk.
that, like $10?
I'm
Something
a
to do
monk.
that?
About 20. I got the fancy certificate and the card coming.
He got the deluxe package.
Are you going to frame that? Or
He got the gold deluxe package, okay?
Well, what's funny is I actually had it before, and I married a couple, and it was quite an honor, and then I lost the card, so I just did it again.
I was actually interested in doing the same thing. I think we're gonna officiate some Cubhouse weddings.
Ooh, that'd
the
be
Eagles.
nice.
Okay, well, as part of the show, because we're talking about it, I'll put the link to the church
Awesome.
that gave me the recognition, so you can too.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
and you guys need to let us know when have you guys actually talked about it, like having a big, like multiple wedding thing at Cubhouse? Oh, please say yes.
Yes.
What Buddy said.
Yeah, he said.
We have a couple friends that recently got engaged after the good news that we all got. I don't know. It'd be fun to incorporate that into our.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things we were talking about is that a lot of engagement announcements
Well,
this last week.
so I had
And
this-
weddings.
Yeah.
Well, how many parties like that can say that they've had a wedding theme? I mean, that's
Yeah.
just fucking rad.
Yeah, do it before everybody else does.
That really is a great idea.
I had this hippie lady come up to me in the mission, and she had this little peace sign, and she said, "Oh my God!" And this is totally unrelated. It was kind of other things going on in the mission, but she said, this feels like the summer of love. This feels like the and I was there in the original one, and blah 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 blah. And I said, so she said, well, just tell everybody it's the summer of love. Come back again, And I said, sure, I'll run with that. And that's kind of what I've been saying, kind of half facetiously, but really, I mean, I think, these types of things and kind of carrying that momentum and, there's going to be a crap load of people getting married this summer. In many ways it is. And I think we should capitalize on that.
Summer of love with condoms, though.
Yeah, it's a little different, like, less acid, more ecstasy.
I had someone else say something similar in a different way, and she just came in and she's like, I'm exhausted. I feel like we just had like 4 or 5 national holidays in a row.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
kind of did.
Because there was the decision, SCOTUS, and then there was the ninth,
Prop 8.
the appeals court, they said, all right, go ahead and get married,
All right.
And with Pink Saturday and Pride
Yeah.
and
Pride,
4th of
yeah.
July. And it
was exhausting.
It is exhausting. Well, in all that exhaustion, I think it's time for this or that. Cue the music.
Oh, it's Jeff. Sorry. Jeff, go ahead.
It's time for this or that.
Thanks, Jeff. This or that. Deodorant or au natural?
Au natural, no deodorant.
Is that you, Vito? Is that what you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No deodorant.
Hmm?
Never deodorant.
Mm.
Ever.
So we're going counterclockwise. So
Shower frequently,
I've,
but never deodorant.
I have a caveat on mine, but go ahead. I want to hear what everybody else has.
Yeah, as long as you take a shower, I don't know. There's no need for deodorant. If you have the clean smell, and as long as you don't smell like you haven't been like rolling around in the mud for weeks, I think you're fine.
I think that's rather prejudicial, Mike, but thank you for sharing.
I would prefer deodorant. Maybe
Okay.
a little hint of au naturel, but mostly deodorant.
I don't know. When I'm having sex with a guy, I like the scent of the day on him.
I'm gonna. I myself apply deodorant every day, but I ride a bike around San Francisco, so I break a pretty big sweat more than a few times a day. So if I didn't wear deodorant, I would just be like not friends with anyone. I wear like the old OG Old Spice, and I actually like the way it kind of mixes with my body chemistry. So at the end of the day, I'm a little spicy, but I'm not like repelling. So I'm into that.
I like that. A little spicy.
A little spicy.
Well, this is Clay, and I definitely wear deodorant because I can be a stinky biatch if I don't.
I prefer to wear it too on myself. I mean, but on other guys, I don't necessarily. I like guys who are all natural, and that depends. The hotter the guy, the less I care about what they wear. It's like I don't care. But if they're on the margin, I get a little more finicky. But there's sometimes too, when I smell myself, and it's pretty terrible. I wouldn't want to subject that to anybody,
What about you, Wolfie? And then I've got a comment.
Okay. I wear deodorant. I will not on request, though. On other guys, in almost all cases, I say no.
I think Buddy's point is really good. For you, then it becomes part of your scent, and you don't smell like you just came out of some, perfume store. I think that's the key. Is like just like anything, like knowing yourself and your scents that smell good on you.
Yeah, and I had terrible BO, and I couldn't get rid of it. And a buddy told me about the Crystal. Have you ever heard of the Crystal?
Yeah.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
Oh.
We have similar in the beginning, one of our earlier episodes.
Maybe like episode 5 or something.
Yeah, but my point is that it's a spray. I like the spray better, not the actual rock itself, and it pretty much eliminates your body odor, and you can go for a couple days without using it.
I've seen that, and it's hard to believe that works.
It's absolutely true. It's all natural. See, I'm not interested in using the antiperspirant because it uses something that could be connected to Alzheimer's. This is so very unscientific at this point, I think.
Right. But yeah, common fear.
So I use the spray.
Do you spray it on your taint?
You can spray it on.
No, seriously, that could be taint.
I
or
do.
No taint.
I do. I put on my feet, in my crotchy area.
You put deodorant on your taint?
It's not deodorant.
It can.
It's not deodorant. It's a natural.
Sometimes, I'll bend over, and I almost pass out. It's awful, awful. I can't believe it's coming from me. I look around at the dog. I try to blame somebody else, but it's not pretty.
Beignet, bad dog.
You can put it on other people's crotches too when you're having sex with them, and also on their foreskin. If you were blessed of having foreskin, you can put on your foreskin and pretty much eliminates.
Put it on any of my body parts because I am deathly allergic to that stuff.
Really?
I break out in a huge rash.
Okay, well I don't. It's great. Every once in a while.
Since when did you two start having sex that you need to worry about that? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, really. That's because I recommended it to him before he tried it and he didn't have a good reaction.
It is the Castro.
I'd already used it, and it's just bad. Bad for me.
Yeah, for you, but not for most people though, because it is a natural product, and it creates a barrier to bacteria. So you sweat, and if you're a sweater like you, buddy, you would probably have to reapply it because it is a natural product. But I totally recommend it, and it's awesome.
Anybody ever shave their pits because the smell's supposed to come from the hair, not from the sweat?
From the bacteria.
Maybe when I was like 18.
What were you wearing? You were trying to get into your gown.
I can still say that I've never done drag. Even with Red Dress Day on ALC, I've still never done drag.
Nothing wrong with it, though. There's nothing.
Well, I did wear a tutu. But fuck you guys.
I was a hula girl. That's the only time I've done drag for Halloween.
I think all natural is good too. Like you said, too, if you shower. Sometimes if it makes my eyes water, then it just gets in the way.
And if I walk by somebody in a bar or something and I can smell them just walking by, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It depends on the person, though. Some people have really alluring body odor.
Exactly.
Depends on the smell. I mean, if it's a couple days old, that's usually rank. If it's just like from that day, to me, it's usually a good smell.
Well, and if they smell like it's a combination of ass and sweat and
lube.
It's like you don't want to hear, lube and poppers. You don't want to necessarily be smelling like their last 48-hour bear run. You kind of want some sort of cleanliness.
Like the end of Burning Man.
Right.
It smells really bad.
Febreze is your friend.
My main thing is if I can taste it on your skin, like it's a big turnoff. It's very dry. It's not appealing to have in your mouth.
Yeah.
Don't have it on.
Are you talking about the taste of deodorant? Okay, yeah, that's disgusting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the smell part.
Deodorant, baby powder.
Baby powder is the worst. Oh, it's the worst.
A mouthful of baby powder. If somebody puts it on their junk.
Oh. No, dude. What was that like?
16 minutes.
It's beyond explanation. It's just horrible.
This is when we need a video camera just to see Tim's face all.
Exactly.
Well, Jerry, what do you think when you're in a bar and you smell smelly men at Cubhouse? How do you react?
I think it depends on distance. I think if I could smell you from maybe 20 feet, that's pretty bad. But if I have to get real close and there's a little hint of body odor, I wouldn't mind so much.
How's Buddy smelling right now?
Buddy probably smells like me because I think we use the same deodorant.
He smells like pizza and Jameson for some reason.
You drink enough of that stuff,
Everyone
it'll come through your pores.
Underarm check right now, yeah.
Well, I would rather smell body odor than a lot of cologne. I mean, you'll talk about tasting things. When people walk in the room and you can taste their cologne, you're like, oh my God.
Right. I used to hate cologne. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Until when I went to Europe a couple of times. Now, a lot of Europeans use it. But again, it's the same thing. It's kind of like, depending on where you are and the person and, maybe if they're wearing leather and they smell like tobacco and cologne and leather and pizza or something, like it works, like it just.
Well, most people in the U.S., though, they don't know.
You're right.
That a little of that goes a really long way.
You're right.
So people just douse themselves. Like what Clay started talking about earlier, going to the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'll be at the gym and dealing with, people putting on cologne and you're, working out, breathing hard, and somebody walks by that has just doused themselves to work out with fucking cologne on for whatever reason, and you have an asthma attack.
Yeah.
Well, I think people put on cologne like it's aftershave, and there's a huge difference. Aftershave, you can splash it on because it's very light and it goes away, but.
I like the smell of somebody like straight from the barber or something like shaving cream and that kind of stuff.
Some pomade and aqua velva.
Yeah. Let's go old.
Those Old Spice commercials.
I used to think that, and then I went to this Mexican barbershop down in Ventura, and he put something blue on my hair that smelled like Right Guard, and I was like, okay, I no longer want to smell like I came from a barber.
Yeah.
So, let me wash this out. So.
I think we should have a cologne that smells like barbecue.
Yeah. It's a great
On
idea.
occasion, my partner will be on the grill all day, and then we'll get into bed and be like,
Isn't that the
smell
best?
delicious.
Yeah. It's true.
Did you ever see the ad campaign where they had a cologne that was made from the Burger King, like frame-broiled meat?
No.
Oh, my God.
Or bacon.
There's got to be a bacon cologne out there already.
There's got to be.
Got to be better than McDonald's.
I was just at this store called Wacko in L.A. last weekend, and they have a huge section of everything bacon that you could possibly imagine.
Oh.
Bacon gum, bacon gummy bears. So they probably had bacon cologne, too.
I try it.
And he didn't buy any.
So speaking of the gym.
Speaking of the gym.
What do you guys think about the dudes that get dressed up at the gym? Like they have their hair, they're there to work out, they have their hair perfect, they have their perfect tank top on, they have their gold chain. It's not the place for that, is it?
I hate them.
Well, I dated a guy that would do that to go to the beach. Like we get ready to go to the beach and he's taking a shower and he's putting on cologne and he's doing his hair. I'm like, we're going to the beach. So some people like to get fancy schmancy for just about anything.
I think it's aggravating. I mean, you're there to work out. I mean, I suppose people want to, maybe they're really smelly or they want to not. But I think some people are there more for show and social hour than for actually exercising,
Dress for success.
Yeah.
It must be straight people because, is it? Do gay people do that?
No, there's a lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell between a straight person and a gay person, right? It seems like all the straight people are totally shaved. Completely shaved. They have no body hair at all, and then the gay guys don't shave.
Yeah, it's like gone the other way now.
Yeah.
It used to be the opposite.
But I think it's still the gay guys that have the hard-ons in the showers, though.
I thank God.
You're like, turn and say, whoa, Hello.
Well, hello.
Well, the cruisiest place I've ever been was a straight YMCA in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's like,
Is that an oxymoron? Straight.
well,
YMCA?
exactly. But, no, because it's in Charlotte, so you would never see any of those people out or, but and then half of them are married, but man, they were just doing things. Sorry.
The chrome off a trailer head.
Was there just doing their own thing in the shower, or was there actually interacting with others?
Yeah, there was it was worse. It was very cruisy. It was out in the open. It was quite impressive.
One of my first experiences was in a steam room at a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who touched you? Show me on the doll where they touched you, Vito.
I'll tell you after the podcast what happened.
Why are you touching me there? You're not my priest.
I think. Well, that's a good topic. If you're in a relationship and your partner goes to the gym, see, I think that's a given. Like, you go to the gym, shit happens at the gym. Good for you. Come back and you have a good attitude.
Well, Tarek just tells me the things he sees. If they're out of the ordinary. Like, I could not believe the size of that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole part of the gym experience.
Well, I need to rethink this gym membership then.
Well, so when I first moved here, I used to work out at the Castro SF purposefully because I knew there was not a lot of bears there, and I actually wanted to exercise. So I didn't want to get distracted, because sometimes you're at the gym and some hot guy goes in the shower, and you're just like, okay, I'm done. Exercise routine is over.
Well, I guess it can be a little distracting because the local gym here closed their steam rooms because of activity.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's terrible.
Yeah, I think it is terrible.
How are you gonna get better skin?
Get those toxins out of you, perverts.
Eros doesn't have a steam room, so do they?
Who?
Does Eros have a steam room?
I believe they do.
Eros?
Eros. No,
Eros?
that's no. That's not. There are no bathhouses in the city of San Francisco. They outlawed them.
That doesn't mean they don't
There's
have a steam room.
No, I think there's no steam rooms. It's a sex club, so it's just rooms.
No, it's steaming.
They have a shower.
They do at Eros.
Mhm.
Eros.
Well, they did when I went there.
Ooh. Yeah. God, you whore.
I have a fun story about that too. I was in my mid-30s and I was traveling quite a bit, and I was in town, and I thought, well, I'll just I'm not going to go all the way over to Steamworks or all the way down to Water Garden, so I'll just go to Eros, check it out. And I walked in, and this little twink behind the counter was all flustered when I was giving him my ID and all this stuff, and he's like, he stops and he goes like, "Sir, this is a gay establishment." And I'm like, I know, that's why I'm here.
Did you have to show him your butt plug?
Right?
And look, I have.
He didn't think you were gay.
Can you believe that?
Just don't speak.
No, it was just one of those situations where, and it was the first time I could grow facial hair because I was a late bloomer, so it was in my mid-30s, and so
I'm like, oh, dude, facial hair?
not until my mid-30s. Before that, I was
So
babyface.
So smooth.
There is a steam room at Eros.
Okay, well, I do know that I didn't make this up.
They don't have rooms.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
They don't
there's
have
no
rooms?
private spaces. Everything's public. There's no private rooms.
Okay, that's
So
what
it's
they
a safe
outlaw?
sex club. It is not a
Okay.
bathhouse with
Okay.
private rooms.
So how about if someone comes up to you at the bathhouse and says, "How are you?" How would you respond?
Annoyed?
Horny.
How are you? Do you find that annoying, or do you think that's a courtesy?
Depends who says it.
Nice transition, Wolfie. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Wolfie's wrangling the segues this evening.
Doing a good job.
I think it's extremely annoying when someone asks me, "How am I?" Either they're not interested really how I am, they're just saying it, or I want to take them by the hand. Okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about 10 minutes. I'll talk to you about how I really am and what's going on with me.
Well, bless your heart, Vito.
Why? Where did this come from? There's how are you?
It's got different cultural context, or excuse me, it's different between cultures. I know somebody who moved here from South Africa. Someone asked him, "How are you? How are you doing?" And he proceeds to tell them, thinking that that's what they actually want, and they don't understand. It's just like a conversational or stopgap.
It's like hello.
Hello, yeah.
So that he is reacting exactly how I think people should react.
But now
to that
that,
question.
but you living here, knowing it's a cultural stopgap or whatever conversational stopgap, can't you just accept that and be like,
It's just so
Great.
shallow. I mean, I just go, fine.
Fine. I like to see people who say,
Why are you so fucking bitter?
because he's a bottom.
I think it's. I just think it's stupid. It's just stupid.
But how are they going to know how you're doing?
They're not. They're never going to know.
They're just going to sit there and look at you. And
You're not interested in how I'm doing.
Oh.
See, I'm the opposite. I fall for it every time. How you doing? I'm great, by the way. Hey, hi. And then they walk away. But I still love that they asked.
Even though they're really not
I
interested.
love that they asked. It makes my
I'm
day.
too literal minded.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I'm too literal. So.
Well, yeah, I've got this corn thing going on in my little toe, and a little
I said too literal minded, not
a
TMI.
little agita, a little heartburn.
But see, that's a
you-
good way to.
You do learn when not to ask that question. Like,
Right.
You know, in the military, some guys would go over and volunteer at the club where people can hang out at the airport, and
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. They say it
Something
over the
SNL or
loudspeaker.
whatever.
If you're a
Yeah,
member of the military, you can hang out here.
yeah, and they were like,
Just the officers' club or something?
no, it's
Commissary?
I forget what it's called. We'll put it on the website. But it's a place where military people can go to hang out while they're traveling. And it's anyway, they're like, yeah, when the old retirees come in, the last thing you want to ask them is, how are you? How are you doing? Because they're going to tell you. Well, oh God, my bursitis. So let's start with that. Okay.
Yeah, no one even knows what bursitis is.
But see, I find myself saying that just because people say it, and I think it's annoying that I say it. Like, but I don't know what else to say. Like, you know, or just,
Hi.
But then why
Hello.
even say hi? I mean, why
Well, if
don't
you
just
have some
grunt?
extra minutes.
What would you consider a suitable conversation starter, just for chit chat's sake?
No, it's hello.
I forgot my antipsychotics. Do you happen to have some?
Are you talking about like when you're passing somebody on the sidewalk and it's just a brief interaction? Or you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
When it's not appropriate to have a conversation.
What do you say?
nice
People say,
day.
"How are you?"
Nice day, isn't it? Weather's nice.
Just a quick top of the morning to you.
Yeah, say it with an
And
Irish
the rest
brogue.
of the day to you, and you're done. That's done.
You're done.
I have
Hey,
I have a
buddy.
feeling that if Ron Braun could say what was on his mind, he would just say, "Hi, I would fuck you." Hi, not gonna happen. Next.
Oh, you know what?
Do you have any cute friends?
How do you know what's on my mind? You're dead on.
What I normally say is, nice to see you.
Do you really mean that? That's a
It
total lie.
is. I totally mean it. It means it totally. It's totally genuine. Oh my God, it's so nice to see you.
But if it's somebody you don't like, you would probably still say that. It's out of habit.
I like everybody. I just say it's so nice to see you.
Has
Because
anybody?
It is, but I don't want to start a conversation with them, so I don't say, "How are you?"
How often will you guys have a conversation with somebody and say, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" And then they answer, and then they ask you, and you tell them, and you say again, "So how's it going? What's up?"
All the
You
time.
know, yeah.
How's
That's
the weather?
embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Or how's the weather? Or politics? You know, there's certain kind of go-to things, but I genuinely want to hear how people are.
You're a sweetie, super sweetie.
Dick.
Well, the Cubhouse has been a little quiet on this topic. Do you have any feelings either way, for or against?
Yeah. How are you with that?
I personally think that it all depends on who the person is and whether you want to know how they're doing or not. If it's a friend, then yeah, okay, I want to know how you're doing. But if it's like my most annoying situation where someone asks me how I'm doing is if it's like a store clerk, like in a clothing store. It's like, hey, how you doing? It's like, I'm doing really shitty. Like, are you going to sell me some jeans now? Or like, what
Do
are
I
you
get
gonna
a discount?
It's annoying, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
Absolutely.
you don't want to know how I am. You just want to sell me shit.
I feel like I get a little bit overwhelmed, especially because, well, like at the Lone Star, for instance, I go there all the time, especially like during the week, and there's people I see there all the time, and that gets thrown around a lot. And I'm like, am I going to tell the same fucking story like 20 times tonight? Like, what's happening? I just want to hang out with Jerry and Mike. Christ.
But how are you, really?
Sometimes I like to ask it just to annoy people and to see them get annoyed. You know, it's just a sick pleasure. I know this annoys you, but
You're going to ask Vito that every time that you see him now. Every single time you see him. Hey, how you doing?
Exactly.
How are you?
I like to just see people sweat for no reason.
Bless your heart. How are you? He's dumber than a box of rocks. Don't talk to him. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, yeah, I think it's time for us to do our back scratches. Who would like to go first?
Okay, get out of that voice first, Clay.
No, I like it.
What's to do back scratches?
Really?
Is that better?
Oh, you can do it on command. I love it.
Is that getting edited out?
I do. He did not even need a vocoder for that.
I don't think so.
And it sounds like a Cylon.
I hope that gets edited out. if it's really come to fart and burp jokes,
Hey.
I don't think there's going to be an episode 28.
We didn't have queef jokes, so we still have a ways to go.
Tim, pull my finger.
I just wanted to say queef.
I'm glad that I'm the only one that laughed when you said queef, because nobody else knows what a queef is.
Queef Leftifa knows what it is.
I know what a queef is.
Yeah.
All right, this is Vito. I'll do my back scratches first. I would like to back scratch the guys from Cubhouse. Thank you for coming. We were short a microphone, so we had some shares tonight. So it was a little difficult, but I guess we made it through.
Yeah, a couple of them
Yeah.
were Frenching each other while they were talking, so
Oh,
apparently
yeah.
it wasn't a problem.
Until you see the video.
And we miss you, Giano. And I'd also like to back scratch Eric from Ventura. I met him. He's a new listener. I'd also like to back scratch Dirk and Jerry for having a great pool party in Ventura this last weekend. And I'd also like to back scratch Tarek and my new buddy Arik, who's originally from South Africa, but he's here now, and he let us spend the night at his house, his little apartment. It was awesome. We had a great time. And also my buddy Judge for letting us spend the night at his house. So it was a very low-cost weekend. It was very nice.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. And then also I'd like to back scratch my buddy Larry. I just saw him at Starbucks earlier today, and he's a listener of ours. So, hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hey.
How you doing, Larry?
What you wearing? How you doing? Nice to see you. Period.
Nice to see you, not how are you.
Period. I don't want details.
You have to include the punctuation. Nice to see you! Exclamation point.
All right, this is Tim. I'll do my back scratches. Let's back scratch my partner, James. Everybody that I hung out with at Pride this past weekend? No, 2 weekends ago now.
Yeah.
Doug and Nolan, who were in from out of town, who I did not get to see this time. So next time around, guys. Randy and Mikey, and
All right.
yeah, Cubhouse guys, thanks for being here, and the rest of the elements, thank you very much.
Let's go clockwise around the room.
Okay. I'd like to give a very big back scratch to my brother who's going through a rough time right now. I'd like to give big back scratches to Tom, Derek, and Tony, and I hope I remembered all your names correctly. They're the ones who drove with me and with the leather contingent during Pride. It was a lot of fun.
I'd like to back scratch my mom, who was happy that Doma passed, even though gays are sinners. They can be forgiven.
That's so nice of her.
Isn't that nice of her? And everybody at Pride who made it a great weekend, and of course for you guys, the Cubhouse guys, all of you for coming and for throwing great parties that I love to go to, and your good energy and good music and good vibe, and we love it. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, this is Clay, and I would like to back scratch the USO, which is the organization we couldn't remember. And, of course, my partner Bill for putting up with me and my shenanigans. Little Miss Scarlett, who's dealing with her, was a mast cell tumor, and she don't know. She don't care. She's doing fine. And a young lady by the name of Bianca, who introduced us to a wonderful holistic vet over in West Portal. So that was pretty awesome. So we're getting Scarlett taken care of there. And
She has what?
a mast cell tumor. So, yeah. But she don't know. She don't care. She's fine.
Is that a skin thing or what?
Yeah.
Okay, like basal cell or something.
It's a thing.
It's basically,
Ron, care to elaborate?
it's a tumor that shouldn't be there.
And thanks also to our guests for putting up with us and our lack of equipment for 3 people to come in here. But you guys at the Cubhouse have been really generous with your time, and we appreciate that. Do you have any back scratches you'd like to give?
Sure. This is Buddy, and my back scratches go out to you guys for inviting us. It's been really fun. You know, we were talkative a little bit more in the beginning, but it was just fun just watching you guys kind of hash it out and get weird and make fun of each other. But I'd also like to say what's up to Giano and Daddy Dan. Giano couldn't be here. He's helping our friend out, Dan, who's had some medical issues, and I thank you, Giano, for being there for him. And anyone else that comes out to our party, thanks for coming out and getting weird with us, and we hope to see you at the next one.
This is Jerry. I second everything that Buddy said. And I want to give one more back scratch to my partner, Alex, for putting up with the loud music whenever I practice for these parties. And thanks to everyone else who comes out to our parties. Thank you to you guys, Bear Element. Thank you for having us.
This is Mike. I want to give back scratches to all the little people that we've had to smash to get here. But seriously, everybody that comes to our parties, we really appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys have a fun-ass time with us, and progressively we'll be having more to come very soon. I want to give a big back scratches to Giano and DD up in Modesto. To everybody that was in Sacramento this weekend at Splish Splashmas, Brian and JP, thank you very much. And make sure you guys come out to the Cubhouse on July 19th at SF Eagle. It's going to be going down. Sábado, 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 estupendo!
Now might come to life.
I think you forgot to do your best shout out of all.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Who's going to take this last shot? I think maybe Rundown should shit out.
Well, he was referring to, we'd like to thank Jameson for being future sponsors of the Cubhouse, because Cubhouse is going to make a crap load of money selling your stuff. Yes. So you get on the bandwagon now while you can.
It's a whiskey, right? What kind of whiskey?
You had to Irish whiskey. It's an Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey. Ooh. Yes. I wanted to confirm what kind of whiskey it is. It's Irish whiskey.
This is top of the morning earlier. Well, I think it's come to that time where we tell everyone we'll see you next Tuesday.
This is the end of episode 27 and the end of part 2. And as Clay likes to say, he just did. See you next Tuesday.
Remember to check us out on iTunes and Facebook and on the web.
Visit us at bearelement.com.